everybody, I already know before we get started, we have an extremely wonderful episode for you today. Joining us, we have Shameeka Emanuel, who hails from Sumter, South Carolina, currently in Atlanta, Georgia. And she is a diversity STEM strategist at Google, and she works primarily on the Code Next project. She has a bachelor's in systems and computer science from Howard University, and she has a master's in computer engineering from North Carolina State University. So, just some other claims to fame. She's been a senior product manager for the Amazon Future Engineer team. She was at Intel Corporation for almost 12 years. I think she started when she was 2 because the math is not mathing, where she held a variety of positions, from validating processors all the way up to diversity scholar program manager. She also gives back to the community. She's been a co-chair for the Birds of the Feather Committee for the Richard Tapia Celebration of Diversity in Computing Conference for the 2019 through 2022 conferences. Anecdotally, I got a chance to meet Shamika at the conference this year, where our mutual friend, Dr. Corey Baker, he was able to introduce us, and he was like, "Oh, she got a story. She needs to be on the podcast." And met her casually. It was cool. And then we're just, there's this VIP reception going on literally above us, and we're like, "Oh, all the big wigs are above us right now." And we're just sitting in the lowly lobby, and Shamika's like, "Yo, come on upstairs." Loud. We're like, the stairs are roped off. She's like, "Just come on, come on." So she sneaks us into this VIP reception for this conference, and we are
Y'all know you are very important people too, so stop.
We weren't like the organizers. That's the thing. We weren't organizers. We were just like presenting. Right. But they had everybody was up there, like all the folks who you see on the stage, who you see organizing things. I'm like, I paid my registration like everybody else.
Snuck in Dr. Ayanna Howard as
well. Oh, that's right. That's right. So we were in good company with the sneaking in, but we were having the best time on the planet. Like, we were late for dinner. Some people supposed to meet us there, and we just had a ball. So I'm so happy that she's here to join us today, and welcome.
I'm honored to join you both because I got a chance to, look at some of your other podcasts, and I'm like, oh, Lord. So, so I'm just honored to be here. So thank you for having me.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Yay. Okay, so I'm just kind of excited. One, Kyla told me somehow we convinced you to be on this podcast with us. I've seen you on the stage at Tapia, like I heard you talk. I know what we're about to get into. They don't know though. The listeners aren't ready. They're not ready. They're not ready.
They're ready.
I want us to start from the beginning, but I just feel like I need a moment to just talk about this Corey Baker connection.
Oh yes. Oh, Corey Baker.
It's hilarious. Baker. Yeah, Dr. Corey Baker and my husband actually went to San Jose State together. And so I know Corey through that, but also because of the National Gym Consortium as well. Yeah, because we're gym fellows as well.
I was also a gym fellow.
Come through gym. And I was able to make that a whole full circle moment with Jim being a gym fellow, but also being a diversity scholar program manager at Intel, who was the person who was the gym representative, and being able to select other gym fellows and being able to actually encourage, push, whatever, Intel to invest in more of this wonderful talent that we have in the Black and Brown communities. Because that's one of the things we need is money, right? And then also being able to serve as the president of the association for the Gym Alumni Association. So Gym is full circle. And I know y'all also have the connection through NSBE. Oh my God. I feel like I'm not one of the cool kids of NSBE though. Like, how can I be down more?
Look, let's talk about it. Let's make it happen. Yeah, because that's not an issue. Okay. Not for you. Not for you. There might be some people where it's questionable.
Right.
Yeah. But you're already people. There.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, like my work wife that we talked about before.
Oh,
Dr. Lauren Thomas, now Quigley. She was my wife first.
That's fine. She could be your wife. I'm her cupcake. So
ooh,
we've been together for a long time, me and Lauren. She was on the podcast really early.
Yeah.
Because I was really excited to have someone whose background is like in my space in engineering education, but he moved into a tech-oriented position.
First off, can I be like you? So it's so funny that I am in the education equity space in corporate. But that is not my background. I am what you call one of those passionate people who is doing this work, but you're an actual like expert. So I feel like I need to wife you as well.
Just collective wives.
In front of all of these viewers here today, I'm asking for your hand in marriage.
Okay. I humbly accept. Listen, because your goals. Okay, so let's start from the beginning. So I need to know a little bit more about you first before I, sign the certificate. So if you would just indulge us for a moment.
Right? I knew you were the one because you asking the right question.
So Sumter, South Carolina. Yes. Is that where you also grew up?
Yes, I was born in Toomey Hospital. Yes, it was called Toomey. That is a sign. Like Tombstone? That's weird. But anyway, Toomey Hospital in Sumter, South Carolina, and grew up there. And I think my love or my focus on education equity started very early because I realized that, first off, Sumter is a very segregated town, period, right? There is literally train tracks that split the town, right?
Like people on the literal other side of the
yes. And so for me, what would happen was I was going to school, but I was tracked very early on to be in these gifted and honors and, AP programs, not realizing that the people that grew up right in my community were not getting access to the same level of education that I was getting. Now, also the other part was even my side of the school looked different. The people on my side of the school looked different. You see what I'm saying?
You sound like my high school. I literally just walked through and was like, yup.
Yeah, so what I'm talking about. And so for me, it was about, I think it was always in the back of my mind, like, why? You know what I mean? My friends are smart. You know what I mean? Like my best friends, we ride hard. But why didn't they have access to the same teachers and things that I did too? Yes, go on and sip that tea. Come on.
Product placement.
Out of the Google cup, everyone.
Purely a coincidence. Purely a coincidence,
guys. I love it. But no, that was really what it was. And it's so funny because one of my teachers, I will not say her name on this podcast because, but she was an ex-lawyer. She was not a Black person. And she was my English teacher. And at that time, I was deciding on what college I wanted to go to. First off, any young people who are watching, please, watching or listening, please cast your net wide for these colleges because you never know the opportunities that you shut yourself out from because you don't think that you're qualified to go to this school or that school or whatever, right? So please, and take the PSAT so you can find out. And they can find out about you, right? That's like the social media dating app for colleges, right? And students. And so for me, it was this woman telling me, so I told her out of my schools, I had 2 PWIs on my list and Howard. And I said I had chosen Howard and she cried. She told me I was throwing my life away and I was too good to go to that Black school, is what she said. This is why I didn't say her name. Ma'am. Let's just call her ma'am.
How many teeth did you knock out of her head? Because I feel
none,
like 3.
because I was in Sumter.
I know you're still in school.
And I was 17. So I was looking at her with confusion.
Right.
Like, why
like, how you going? So... Like, I'm Black as well, right? And for that, there's just so many things wrong.
Let's unpack this. You know how they put us, like, you're one of the good ones. I guess in her, I don't really know. But it was, for me, that was what really helped me to understand that Howard actually was my place, right? That I needed to be there, that I needed to see other people like as beautiful as you both are, who are pushing, and like we're all trying to achieve something. And it was just like, oh, I have a tribe. You know what I mean? It's a tribe of people. And now I'm not saying you have to go to a HBCU to find your tribe. I'm saying I had to, because like I hadn't seen it. You see what I'm saying? You can find those tribes at other schools, whatever that looks like for you, but find it. And so that was kind of where I went with it. Now, how did I choose computer science with no computer in my house?
Talk about it.
So somebody told me I could go to school for free.
Hey,
I was smart enough to do it, and I'm still to this day, I'm like, okay, put me in, coach. All I gotta do is like I need to just go to college. That's what I say in my mind. If I need to do something new, go to school, right? Get my knowledge and get it together and ramp up on it. And so when they told me I could go to school for free if I said I was going to do that major, I was like, bet.
Right.
Here it is. Now, I am eternally grateful that I actually selected a really good major. I mean, I went to college in the late 1900s.
Really?
So,
don't do
you know
that.
What I mean?
You are not a colony ranger.
I just wanted you to understand that it wasn't like a whole bunch of people was like computer science in the 90s. You know what I mean? Actually, hardware was very sexy back then, which is why you saw me shift into my master's and get, go computer engineering, because I wanted to be one of the sexy architects. You know what I mean? Well, sexy. Okay,
I've never heard anyone describe computer architecture as sexy, but I'm here for it.
I'm here for sexy. It is so like it's like the dopest thing in the world to say, I did that. You know what I mean? That phone.
Yeah,
I did that. True. That technology.
I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where it's like you have a physical
device.
Right.
Something physical that you actually say, like, I did X, Y, Z. Like you can see it.
Right.
Boom.
Right. You can touch it.
Mine is inside the computer, and if you press this button, you can see it. Versus
this button someone else made.
Right.
Right. Like the stuff that I was working on actually makes it possible for these data centers to not crash and burn, right?
And that's important.
Right. And so I'm like, okay, if you are enjoying your experience on Facebook today, you're welcome. If you are enjoying this experience today, you're welcome.
Right.
The process of design. You see what I'm saying? All of this is running on all. So anyway, that was me. So some of the reasons why I went into tech are not because I was like, oh my God, I love that. It was first for financial reasons and for me to get out of the space that I was in. I did not grow up, with a lot of money. So I knew that this was something I needed to do to not just, help myself, but my mother, right? And the rest of my family. Oh, snap.
For those of you who are listening, you may not have heard that noise. We just had someone join us on the podcast. Would you like to introduce yourself, new guest?
Greetings, everyone. My name is Corey Baker, and I'm an assistant professor at the University of Kentucky in the Department of Computer Science.
Dr. Baker, welcome to the pod.
Yes. Welcome.
You're one of the esteemed few men who have been on this show, so
I'm privileged. I'm just here to listen.
Number 3 out of this will be episode 61. You're number 3 that's been on the show.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm just here to support.
Okay, let's take a detour for a moment, because we were all talking about how Shameeka met Kyla.
Yes.
But you ain't introduced us. Like, what is that?
Jeremy, where were you? I don't know where you were at the time.
No,
I mean, we were having refreshments, and
you can tell the truth.
Right. We already told it. We already told him.
Oh, well, I'm not sure what was said, but we were having refreshments, things like water, hors d'oeuvres, and yeah, it just naturally happened.
Okay.
But cool. Jeremy, I don't know where you were. You were working.
No, this was during the time that you were trying to be on your recon mission to get clothing
stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're right. Because I showed up and it was ending.
Yeah.
That makes
sense.
There's
a lot going on that day.
Yeah, it was rough, man. I lost.
But I think it's awesome when great people meet great people. So.
Yeah, definitely.
But we had to facilitate all of this. But we had a great time, and you literally were like, "You need to be on the podcast."
It was a lot. It was a lot. But I'm happy that I'm here. And by the way, I talked to Michelle. Thanks, Dr. Baker, for.
Oh, that's great. So new things coming about then.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
so Corey's the plug is what I'm hearing right now.
That's what I'm hearing too.
Natural connector. He's
okay.
Natural. Yep.
Well, Corey, we got to get Shameeka in with the Nesby fam. Because that's what she said she needs next.
Okay. Oh, I mean, Shameeka, don't let Shameeka play around. She has all the plugs.
I already said that.
He has, I mean.
You weren't here.
You have engineer in academia and industry. She has all the connections. I mean, Shameeka, I think Shameeka's looked out for me a ton of times, whether it comes to me when I was in grad school or having my graduate students. So, I mean, she's the real plug.
Aww. Well, I mean, that's what this is all about, right? Like, is us coming together and not only being there for each other, but for the next generation of technologists who are coming up, because I'm grateful for the folks who came before us. So if there's anything I can do to push and to be the one in the room to, jump on tables, yes, I have. Oh. I'm just saying, it's like, come on. We can call it passionate. You know what I mean?
I mean, if you're jumping on tables, you're definitely passionate.
I mean, come on, let's do it. So I just find that I just try to use my position, like all of you, to make sure that we clear the pathway for other people. Now, this is a great way for me to say I don't like people who are just holding space and not willing to push.
Amen.
So let's be clear about that. I'm not gonna call no names. There are people out there that I'm like, if you're not willing to say the tough things and do the tough work and push for these communities that have been marginalized, not just in tech, but just in life, you know what I mean? Then I don't really need you in this space. Go do, like, you can be wonderful at operations of something. Go do that, right? But let the people who are willing to push be in this space is all I'm saying. So.
That is a word.
Get off my side.
That is a whole word.
So, you got your master's degree. Somewhere around there you got married, I assume. Which means at some point Corey enters the conversation.
Oh yeah.
For real. Like he just
said Jose State conversation.
Are we there?
Yes.
Are we at that point?
Feel like we're there.
Tell Dan I said what up.
Dan.
We're gonna have all of these guest appearances. You can step in and say hi. This is a guest-studded show, apparently.
Step in and say hello if you would like.
Because we already wrangled Corey to get on here.
I know. I'm so excited.
He said he's scared.
Oh.
I'm just playing. No,
we won't tell the whole story. It's okay. I don't need to know what was involved. I just know that this is around the time that you likely met him, right? In your trajectory.
Yes. So moved out to California. I cried actually because I thought I was going to stay in the Southeast. And I actually wrote on my resume, remember back, okay, so I'm really dating myself. Back in the day, used to put geographical locations or preferences on your resume.
Yep.
Hush, kids, don't be laughing at me. But anyway,
or an objective statement with all this.
All these things, right? And so I had put southeastern region of the United States. So my boss at Intel almost did not even call me for an interview. Wow. Because he was afraid that I was not going to move. But what he didn't know was I was hungry. So I was moving wherever the job was going to be. You know what I mean? And so I thought I was going to stay in Raleigh and work for IBM. Shout out to IBM. But they weren't checking for me at the time. I'm gonna just put it out there. And so I went for another I and got the job at Intel, which actually worked out pretty well for me, and ended up meeting my husband within 6 months of me moving to the Bay Area. So yes, Black women, there are Black men in the Bay Area. Dr. Baker was there.
But he's taking
all 5 of the Black men.
Don't get him in trouble.
All 5 of the Black men.
And you know all
but
of
just
them.
in general, just in general, what I'm saying is there are Black men in the Bay who do like Black women who,
I mean, that's real. That's real.
That yeah.
Because that's what
maybe they're all at San Jose
y'all.
State.
Mm.
Yeah, and a couple at Berkeley, and I'm just close ears, baby. I didn't say that, but anyway, just in general. So that's where we met, and we had our first daughter in 2008. Well, we only have one daughter. We have 3 children. Yes, so we have a 14-year-old. She's in 9th grade right now. Yes, which is the same high school that Cam Newton went to, and they will not let you forget it.
Oh wow.
They don't. There's a sign that said Cam Newton went here. I'm like, who does that? I don't know. But shout out to Sumter because we had Ray Allen and John Morant. You know what I mean? So I mean, but there's no sign that says home of Ray Allen and John Morant.
They need one.
I'm just saying, maybe we do. And so my daughter is 14. Then we have a son who is in 7th grade. He's 12. He's taller than me. DJ Daniel Jr. and then another son, Christopher, who was born on Christmas Day. He'll be 9 this year. So yes. We got high school, middle school, elementary school in this house. I know y'all's faces are like,
would have happened without you, Corey. None of that would have happened. I'm just saying.
I didn't do that intro.
Yeah, he didn't do that intro. Okay, so let me tell you the intro now.
Okay. Yeah.
We met on MySpace.
What?
That's how old we are.
Oh wow. With Tom as your first friend.
Look at technology.
Technology coming through and
Tom
changing
was
lives.
my first friend.
Amazing.
But just saying, so we met. He sent me a message.
Did you have a MySpace song on your page?
You know, I didn't because as an engineer, I realized that it was really tanking my performance as far as uploading.
Oh yeah, it would make the page slow.
You see what I'm saying?
It was
That, you know what I mean? Like when
right.
it was like, why y'all? So that's also why Facebook won. The book won because they kept their stuff simple and they were like, I'm not gonna let y'all crazy people just take this over because y'all don't understand big O notation. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
because you don't understand it. It's my job to understand it for you and
Right.
give you a great tool such that the
To improve your experience.
Come
Right.
on.
Okay.
Mhm.
Shout out to
Makes
user
sense.
experience people everywhere.
Just saying.
Ooh, okay. I love this. This is great. Corey, do you have any more comments before, you kind of exit the conversation?
Oh, y'all kicking me out?
I know.
That's Jeremy. That's
Oops,
Jeremy.
Jeremy. That's
No,
No, I'm just not going to ask you
Dang,
any more questions.
I
Probably.
almost said your nickname on the podcast, but I will
Ooh.
leave it out.
Ooh,
Ooh.
It's
put it
not
in the
a bad
chat.
thing.
Look.
It's not.
It's not a bad thing.
Okay.
But I don't want everybody else to just start calling you that.
Okay.
But when
I know how
you
you feel.
when you were giving me the boot, I almost said it. So
You don't gotta go. I'm just saying, I want to know, like, if there's anything, like, from your perspective that, you recognized.
about
was
Shameeka.
this- Yeah. Like, what should we know? What should we know?
I mean, I missed the beginning. I guess to me the biggest thing with Shameeka is the trajectory. She's been climbing fast,
Mm.
and then she's been at a number of these large companies that people want to work for. So, like, I would be interested in how did you make the trajectory, or how did you get there? Like, and then also what makes you do the jump, and then also, maybe some of the tea about like what position / job has been a favorite and why.
Okay.
Ooh, see, I knew I had to ask. I knew I had to ask something from Corey. Okay.
Lord have mercy.
So we just got into position number 1.
Right.
And we got a few more to go through, right? Because
I know this is
somehow
lot.
you switched from Intel over to Amazon.
So let me say that at Intel, I enjoyed the hardcore technical piece. So most of my time at Intel was in the Xeon server team. So most of it was doing design work.
She was using that computer engineering degree. She's like, y'all gonna get some circuit work.
You're gonna get all of this, okay? And my name is Shameeka. Okay.
Now do something.
Okay. So that was really fun. But what I did was after the 4th server processor, I looked around and I'm like, there's no one who looks like me. Now I was blessed to have this wonderful tech, advisor, tech leader in my team. Shout out to Ben. And he actually, a Black dude, went to Stanford, is a Kappa. So once again, God looks out, right? Yeah. God looks out, and he's one of the smartest men I know. Do you hear me? Like, as far as memory controller technology goes, I'm like, how does your brain compute this? And I'd be like, he give me the solution. Now say it 2 more times. All right. So anyway, so I was blessed in that. But what I'm saying, as far as women went, it wasn't, like I could see myself there. So that's when Shirley Meyer, I'm throwing out names, Corey knows her. She was the Diversity Scholar Program Manager at Intel, and she's actually the one who gave me my GEM fellowship. And she was like everybody's mom. But
can you tell our guests what the GEM fellowship is, just in case they don't know what that means?
So the National GEM Consortium was founded in 1976.
Okay, commercial voice.
Yes, my dad was actually a DJ in Columbia, South Carolina at the Big DM. So,
wow.
So I do have that connection as well. But so the National GEM Consortium is this wonderful nonprofit that gives basically Black, Brown, and Native students a chance to pursue advanced degrees. So if you want a master's or a Ph.D. and you want to go for free and get paid, get a little money, okay, stipends, we can tell you how to get a free advanced degree in engineering, right? There's so much money and so much need for you to do that. But here's the catch. You have to first get your bachelor's degree. So let's talk you through that.
Right.
And get you there. But the National GEM Consortium is amazing. And you have some wonderful GEM fellows that are famous today that are doing big things. Like the president of University of Maryland was a GEM alumni. The director of research for the Department of Defense is a GEM alumni. He was also the one who was the lead project manager for the Chernobyl cleanup project, Maynard Holliday. Shout out to him. I'm just like out here.
You better know your
facts. You know what I mean? Let me
And I think like the cool piece about GEM that sets it apart from like other programs that do like support at the graduate level is that they partner with industry.
Yes.
And the government to get funding. So not only do the students receive their stipends through the academic year, like fall, spring, they have the chance to go and intern during the summer, typically with those companies that sponsor their fellowships. So
that's right. And
you
I just really wish
it is not a free internship. You earn money also during that time.
You are really working. And I wish that this country understood the importance of apprenticeships and work experience. Especially it gives you, well, look, big sister Zaretta Hammond says, right, competency breeds confidence, right? And so when you can work on developing those skills, you're more confident and you can persist in those roles when you finally get there. And so I'm just saying GEM is a wonderful, just organization, and there's so many of us that have come through there, so we're grateful to the things that they're doing. And so I'm one of those people that also pushes for the companies that I'm a part of to join GEM. So I'm happy that when I did go to Amazon, I was able to advocate for them to become a GEM member, and they did. Right.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's nice.
And so Google also now sponsors undergraduate labs, the grad labs as well.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, but Don't worry, I'm working.
We ain't there yet. Yeah.
But
and Shameeka, I just wanted to highlight too when you did all that, particularly first at Intel, like you said, Shirley was amazing. And Shirley was a Caucasian woman, but she was the reason I got the fellowship. A number of us came through there. But then when Shameeka took it over for Intel, like she grew it to an amazing level. And then, like she said, like I think she talked about the technical piece that she did at Intel, but she's responsible for a lot of us getting degrees, getting into industry, getting well-paying jobs, negotiating salaries. And then the fact that she's kept that, and companies like Amazon and Google have been hard to get to be companies. And the fact that as soon as she gets in the door, she said, this is the first thing we're doing.
Yeah, I don't play about that. And right now I'm actually doing a partnership with Morgan Latimer, who was founded by an ex-Googler, Anthony Mays, who is in Compton, Inglewood area. And we're doing an Art of Interviewing series, a free one. So if you're in Inglewood, you can actually go. It's like right about around like SoFi Stadium. You can go in person to see Anthony. Or you can be online. I'm always online to kind of monitor the chat and all of that stuff. So we're talking through it as if you are someone trying to get into the industry from the technical perspective, but some of it is also applicable to people who are not looking for hardcore technical roles as well. So I'm just saying, I'm just trying to do as much as I can.
You are an interventionalist. Like you design opportunities for people to have these experiences that they otherwise wouldn't have, and you can't do that if you've not been there, right?
Come on,
sis. I think too often we have people who haven't been there, right? Who haven't been from where we come from, designing experiences for us, and then wondering why it doesn't work.
Right. We need a holistic approach, right? Because you need to. So it's kind of like that Maslow's, hierarchy of needs, right? But I think of it in, another way, which is you still need those basic needs, but then there's these competencies that go over it, and then this self-reflection or realization that my identity is created as an engineer. But how can we make sure that the students that we want to pour into actually have those basic needs met? And I will say that I feel very happy about I know I'm jumping all over the place, but I'm at Code Next right now at Google, because a part of what we do is the strategy was about meeting you in your community and meeting you with what you needed. So like Code Next, we pay for their transportation to the labs. We have physical spaces that are technical playgrounds. They look like Google offices. We have micro kitchens in there. They get food. When we were in the pandemic, we sent hotspots and devices to their homes. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's about like, I'm going to remove all those barriers. And what I love about it is when I do. So right now, yes, I am still the diversity STEM strategist, but shout out to my manager, program lead, Peter Gay Clark. She has extended her family, so she is on maternity leave. So right now I'm also managing all of the instructional team for Code Next. So I have a team in Oakland, a team in New York, and a team in Detroit, because we just opened the site in Detroit.
Super cool.
Conjunction with Ford.
Hey, we want to go there for something. Let's talk offline.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Synergy.
But it's just what I love is we get to work with architects. We do these focus groups to talk about what these spaces should look like. So there are like famous inventors who are Black and brown from those communities. Right? So like, I don't know, maybe I didn't know this, but apparently Detroit was like the founding place of techno music. Did you know that?
And they have a festival every year in Hart Plaza, and it's the biggest techno electronic music festival.
Kyla lived
a lot
up
of
there.
our stuff, a lot of our stuff around that lab is about music, and we have clubs that focus on, Georgia Tech Ear Sketch, shout out to them. You know what I mean?
McGurko,
some of that,
also a Michigan alum.
Oh, okay, come on, Michigan. My special son is on the football team. Shout out to them for winning.
They have been winning. They are undefeated right now.
Okay, they stay winning. We were just talking about Harbaugh. I was like, okay, when he left the 49ers, I was like, no. But I figured
he knew what he was doing.
He knew what he was doing. You see what I'm saying? And that is a lesson. You can't have other people dictating what it is, because I will go back to this. When I decided I wanted to take over the Diversity Scholar Program position, I had well-meaning male engineers come to me, take me out to eat. I'm talking about all of this to say, you are making a big mistake.
Wow.
By transitioning over, because engineers think we know everything and that our jobs are the best. And I'm like, I'm out here to tell you that the money is over there too.
Right.
You know what I mean?
The money is still green over there, basically.
Right. They're sounding like your guidance counselor from high school, talking about why would you, throw your talents away over there? Now these people coming at you, why would you, and essentially saying the same thing. Like,
yes.
That's already
you have to go where you are called, right?
Right.
And not everybody is called to do everything.
Exactly.
Deion Sanders, I understand.
I'm telling
You're like, I don't know if we're gonna go that far. Okay, I'm just saying.
I mean, the scale of the dollar is different. I think we went from $300K to $5 million.
But the other piece is he also has this opportunity to bring in more Black coaches to Colorado.
More Black students and
students, build them up, get them to a salary where they can command salaries at other schools. You see what I'm saying? So it's like he's doing some things. I know it doesn't look crazy. It doesn't look right now. You know what I mean?
So Dr. Waisome and Dr. McMullen, can I ask Shameeka a question about that related to her industry, like something similar?
Okay, yeah.
Go for it, guest interviewer.
Thanks, Dan, y'all.
Just because I think she'll be a great person to answer this. So, you mentioned Deion in Colorado, and particularly when you think about University of Colorado Boulder and some of these other PWI institutions, many of these spaces have been known not to be welcoming of people that look like you and myself. And when you see this in industry and you have, these small doors open where you kind of have a minor influx of some of us, I feel like that could be good or bad. Like, say, for instance, you're at Google right now, you've opened opportunities at your previous companies. When you bring us in and then people are not used to interacting with us and their biases are not knocked down, like, how do you create sustainable, safe spaces in those type of situations?
Oh, well, so I make anyone who is interacting with any of my program participants go through trainings. And so this is called racial literacy. Because you don't have to know, you know what I mean? Like, I know you don't understand, but what I want you to understand is like the historical context of these people in this country, what they have gone through, what they are continuing to go through, so that you can have some level of empathy when you're working with them. So I make that, first off, that is a requirement if you want to be, anywhere around our students. And internally, we used to have a course that did that, but now I just kind of talk through it. So I am all about that. That's step one. It's just teaching people about racial literacy and how to interact with other people, and making sure that the people that you bring into these spaces have that kind of experience of working in these communities, because what I'm not going to do is have you say something that is harmful. I was in an interview actually with someone, I'm not going to tell you what company this was, and we were doing like kind of a demo, like a panel interview, and we were acting as if we were the students that we were serving in that interview, and this person was like, I'm going to have to kick you out of this class if you continue to disrupt. And now what was happening was we had, like I said, we were all playing roles, and that particular interviewee kept saying someone's name incorrectly. So one of us who was playing a student was trying to tell them, it's this, it's not that. It's this, it's not that. And that person, and so in my, I was like, because you didn't even bother to first off listen to what the person was saying, which was you're not even given enough like attention to this. Like, this person's name is this, say it correctly. Number two, why are you kicking anyone out? This is like a after school program, right? This is another place for these students to come and be there and build community. I know I haven't talked about the importance of social capital first, but that's what, we want our students to build, is social capital in all of the things that I've done in any of these student programs. And what social capital is just networking, right? If I don't already have a network with people in this space, I can't see myself. I can't build an identity. I can't tap into people who can help me get a job or learn more about any of this stuff. So that's the idea of social capital. So basically, number one is making sure that you understand the community that you're serving, to me. Otherwise, you have no business over here. I don't care.
All I know is whatever diversity effort you are running, I just sign me up, because you're doing all the right thing. Because there's people who have, like Corey said, like so many different pieces where it's like, oh, we want to really get these people in here, but they're basically integrating people into a burning building. Ooh. It's like, let's figure out how to make sure that we're not just focusing on one thing and just leaving the rest of the picture completely out. So
here's the other part of this for me is we're all engineers on this call. Mm-hmm. The way that we approach designing a product is the same way you should approach designing any program or anything that you're trying to do. I don't understand why people in this space think it's cute. Like, I think DEI is cute and fluffy. Let's go hold hands. It's like, no, do the same work, the same landscape analysis, same focus groups, same design sprints, measures, metrics, iterate.
I was just about to say, like, Shameeka, you are a researcher. Like, this is not like a faint of heart adventure that you've gone on. Like, you just defined a very technical term within the education research space. Like, there are people who spend their careers just focused on social capital, right? Like, that's what they do. That's their bread and butter. Yeah. So you're not just talking about that. You're talking about cultural competencies. You're talking about self-efficacy. You're talking about confidence. You're talking about identity and belonging. Like, this is not, oh, let me just go out and like make a program because I feel like it. This is, let me study this space, understand the needs, design something that addresses those needs, assess it, and make sure that it is accomplishing the goals I want it to accomplish, and then improve it based on the feedback I receive.
Come on.
Is that too much to ask?
Is it? That's all I'm
Apparently.
saying. It's like, I don't understand why other people are not doing this. And then guess what? If you don't know, go out and outsource that junk. So like, I also work with Education
I'll take the money.
Development Center. Right. Well, I'm just saying, I literally do work with my teams. Like, I need someone who's an external evaluator to help me. I need someone who's a statistician to help me. Yep. I need you see what I'm saying? So I'm literally right now working with West Ed on a predictive instrument survey on career outcomes. I'm also working with Education Development Center on doing external evaluation of our program, and they're doing a longitudinal study on our students and where they are. And they also talk to our coaches, our staff, because it's not just about the students. They're interviewing the coaches as well. So I'm like, all this stuff that we have learned in school, I don't understand why people are not employing those same things in this DEI work or education equity work. Now, that's not to say that there aren't, because clearly I know you. You know what I mean? I'm just saying that there are a lot of people who just have the passion, but don't even bother to, read books, go to these conferences, and like, what are you doing? I don't understand.
No, I'll tell you why. I know exactly why, because I've been in meetings where people are like, oh, let's start a K-12 outreach. Number one, engineers, I think we have this ego where we're like, we are so smart. Anything that I put together is going to be great. I don't need to consult anyone. And also people see it like it's community service. Like, I'm just doing it because it's good to do. Like, make sandwiches for the homeless, do Black Girls Code. Same same thing. Like they make it seem as though you don't have to research sandwiches to make sandwiches for the homeless. But, you know, people don't think about the lives they're impacting. And I was on a call and I was like, we cannot get so enamored with ourselves that we're just going to totally neglect the people whose actual job and scholarship and research this is, and think we can just jump into a school system and teach them engineering and go home. I'm like, they're going to be like, y'all are boring. You don't know what you're doing. We've wasted our time. We've wasted their time.
I
had
teachers.
to go in. So
we're not even trained. Yeah, we're not even
trained
to do some of it. You say it sounds like
it sounds like you're referring to entities. I mean, when you said that, I mean, I just think of some entities that you know, some, you know, not everybody, but large groups of people in ASEE, CS education, right? Like what happens is people try to play the role and say, well, let me tell you how Black students learn, right?
Right. Did you ask Black students how they learn?
Right.
Did you ask? And then what was your sample size? Like how many people did you talk to?
5 people. Where'd you get these Black students from? Are they all kids of professors? Or like,
and what is the validity of your assessment? Did you even fine tune that? I'm sorry, because I don't know. Some of these questions sound situational. Today I might answer it different.
Right.
Come on,
another
research.
I think that comes up related to that too. I feel like what Dr. Waisome pointed out about you know, if the money is there, you know, I'll take the money and I can show you how to do it. Resources are typically limited in this space, and the only time you see my increase of money is in reactive situations, like somebody, you know, you had a racist student at a school start saying stuff, i.e. my school, right? You have, so, or every other institution or company, you have something happens and people react and say, we're going to throw a pot of money, but they don't they don't throw a sustainable amount of resources at it.
Right. Yes. It's like y'all got the money to clean up the mess, but not to prevent the mess.
Because do you really care?
Right. And
you see what I'm saying? Like, so what I will say is this. There's a strategy. We're in the Matrix. Y'all know that. Ender's Game or the Matrix is what I say. Either one, pick one. So if you know what the game is, how do we create these sustainable programs? And a lot of it is just understanding your senior leadership, what they care about, but also doing really interesting things like land leases. You know what I mean? Like things where it's like, you can't shut this train down because it's here, right?
Yeah.
With Tech Exchange, we built a campus. You see what I'm saying? It's here. There will forever now be a Howard University training room on the, campus of Google in Sunnyvale. That's amazing. Forever. You see what I'm saying? So what I try to do is things where this is something that it's going to take you, like you can still tear anything down, but it's going to take you a long time to stop that train that I put in motion, right? But I just want people to understand that this work is very important, and the same level of care and attention that you would put into anything as a product manager or an engineer is the same level that you would put into any of this work. And oh my God, thank you for being in this space. That's why I'm saying, like, for me, I'm someone who is passionate, but also I would call you and be like, please tell me what to do. Can I hire you? You see what I'm saying? I need a contract. Can you come do this?
I made the comment about money because, people who are in my position are often offered pennies for our work and efforts in comparison to, like, if I were going to do like my technical research, right? Like my technical research, and put it in air quotes, because my work that I do today is equally as technical. And it's, for me, it's harder, right? Like, can I make a physical device to test something and like pull data out of that and create, a whole algorithm to understand like the information there? Absolutely. I can do that.
Yeah.
It's pretty straightforward for my brain to make those connections. It's really hard for me to understand you.
Yeah.
Like, we have trouble finding spouses or friends. Now you're asking me to understand a complete stranger whose life and experience is very different from mine. Come on, like, that's hard.
Yeah, it's very hard. I mean, and so I'm with you on that, but I want to just say that I have had someone actually send me a proposal for landscape analysis. And I'm going to put numbers out here. And this person said I can do all of that for $30,000. I said, no, you can't. But let me say this. The person was a Black person who was working for a nonprofit. And I think that this person just really, really wanted to work. So it was like they were under. And I was like, I have seen people who are doing less work for me ask for 100,000. Go back and really compute how many hours and what this is. And so I also give that advice to people I work with. Like, if I think it's too low, I'm going to tell you, if you don't go back and what are you doing? I'm not saying I'm trying to make you go crazy with the money, but I'm saying I know what this is worth. And so I want you to get what you're worth. And I just, that's another thing that I see in our communities too, is that we'll be like, I could do this for, 25 cents on the dollar of what somebody else is asking for. That's crazy.
And then you undershooting yourself.
I don't got time for that.
Right. Shameeka says always a zero.
Add it. Like, just seriously. Give a range. All they can say is no. And or they'll just like renegotiate and send back their counter offer. It's whatever, but I don't like to see us do that to ourselves. And I'm saying this as a person who was severely underpaid for a large part of her career, because she did not, well, first off, there was a recession. That happened. Yeah. And at that time we had no raises at the company I was with, and so basically I had a couple of years where nothing happened, and then when we started getting it was like percentages. So I'm saying that to say like small, like 1%. So what I'm saying is you got to come in with the right base, know what people are getting, and be able to root yourself in what you're confident. Remember that competency part. Like, if I know I can bring this, then this is what I am worth. I mean, one of my good friends, I mean, his base is about to be like 300,000. Engineer.
That's your
Sounds
base.
Good.
People don't understand the raises come off of that.
Come on, that's what I'm trying to say. Your annual bonus, all of that stuff is based on that. So make sure that you're really negotiating for yourself and confident in all of those things. And that goes for education as well, because I want to say I'm hiring teachers. If you teach computer science education, please holler at me. At google.com. Anyway, but I really, really am like in Detroit right now looking for people to teach. So, I mean, and I feel like it's a competitive salary when I think of what teachers are making. And it's a shame that teachers are making what they're making, because kids are a lot.
And teaching is a lot.
If you do it right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? When you really like go into these frameworks and models and pedagogies and like, oh my God, inspiration and self-reflection and lifelong kindergarten.
And
you know what I mean?
learning and all of this.
You see what I'm saying?
It's energy. I pass out after class because I'm like, I feel like I'm doing the most.
You probably are.
Most. But we appreciate you for all of that, is what I'm saying. And so I guess now that I am managing this group of instructors to see how amazing they are in the space with these high school students, because that's what Code Next focuses on, is just like, oh my God. And not only do they have to worry about the students, they also have to worry about Googlers, because they co-teach with Googlers. So part of what they're doing is instructional coaching with the Googlers, right? Shout out to Giant Machines as well for also providing me. When I tell you, look, baby, I don't have to know how to do it. Let's outsource some things and get you the support that you need, because that's how serious we are about providing these cutting edge learning experiences. So we're also working with them to also get professional development for anyone who is teaching our students as well. So I'm just having fun. People let me in. You know what I mean?
And you're going from stage to stage, talking about how fabulous and wonderful you are and what Google has to offer people, which is great.
So you have to answer Corey's question. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, earlier when we talked, you said like you created your position.
Oh, that's
right. And I love that.
So I can't give all the credit to myself. A part of it was me taking Dr. Kamal Bob's title and repurposing it.
Yeah.
He moved into a different title at Google. He also still runs his center at Georgia Tech. I don't know when he sleeps.
He doesn't.
We sit next together, actually. Like, his desk is right next to mine at Google. And we actually started on the first day, the same day. So we have a first day selfie together. So this is hilarious. But
so y'all were nuclears together?
We were nuclears, and we have the first day. So I used I know nuclears. It's so funny, but I was starstruck when I saw him because I actually used his research to help build Amazon Future Engineer.
Wow.
So if you don't know about the whole Amazon writing papers thing, you should really consider this if you want to work for Amazon on the corporate side. If you enjoy writing, research, those types of things, Amazon is definitely a great place for you. And I feel like it was a great place for me to kind of re-strengthen that muscle, because the last time I had done real research was in graduate school. You know what I mean? So going to Amazon and having to write all these papers, because that's how we do things. We don't pitch, we don't do presentations. You literally write a white paper and come into a meeting and put it down, and everybody reads silently for 30 minutes, and it's like a defense.
I would love that.
That's what that's why I said it. Amazon is for introverts, people who are
who
have PhDs.
Not even that. I just like doing the work in the meeting. Like, let's just get the ideas out here, read it, talk it out. We've decided.
Can't do it.
But it can also be scary for those who have not defended any of their work.
It sounds horrible.
But like, it teaches you though. It teaches you how to. I'm getting these kind of questions. Let me answer those kind of questions in advance.
You know what it sounds like to me? NSF review panel.
Oh yeah, but with the person in the room, defending their proposal.
You there?
That would be kind of cool, actually.
Right, but the part of the white paper. So you write the white paper, but a part of it is the FAQ section where you're actually doing that, where you're saying these are questions that I anticipate them asking, like, what's your 5-year plan? What's the budget? What's the operational plan? How many? You see what I'm saying? Like all of this stuff. Why do you think we need this? Blah, blah, blah. So you're actually going through all that and defending all of that work. So anyway, back to that. That's why I knew Dr. Bob, was because I had used some of his work that he had been putting out to build what the strategy was going to be for Amazon Future Engineer. So having him as a colleague here was amazing, and he helped me do a lot of work when I was the program lead for Tech Exchange, which is the expansion of Howard West. So like, we would talk back and forth about, what this should really be, what the strategy should be going forward. And so I'm going to get real deep here. So I had my own, like, kind of personal mental health thing that happened to me. I lost both parents within a very short amount of time. And in 2019, I came to work and I was like talking like this, but tears were running down my eyes. And my team was like, do you realize you're crying? Because I was talking like this. Didn't even know it was happening. So I took a 6-month leave of absence because, and I want to just say that, yes, it was scary, but if you need that and you're able to do it, please do what is best for you, because we can't bring this work forward. You have people who love you. Please make sure you take care of yourself. So when I came back after that 6 months, they were like, yo, what you want to do? kind of thing. And I was like, bet, I'm just going to create this position where I can basically be a hybrid. So I do research for CodeNext, but also for the larger internal org. So that WestEd project is, with the internal org. So I do a lot of that. I get to advise a lot of other educational programs and sit in to help them figure out how to really make this a culturally responsive, program and offering that we want to provide as well. And then some of the really fun stuff is working with our Coral AI team. So they have this new USB accelerator that helps you do edge ML. So instead of having to go to the cloud, you can do it, right here on your computer. And so building this whole curriculum with them and helping them to repurpose their AI makers website, that was fun. You know what I mean? So I get to do like real fun stuff. So I get to just wake up and say, what am I doing today?
I feel like you're faculty because like you're basically a researcher. That's what we do.
I mean, but now a lot of my time is now devoted to managing this team. And so that has been a great experience for me, learning from so many amazing educators. A lot of them come from that background and have that background. And it's just amazing to see them just interact with the students when I do get to go and travel and go into those labs, seeing our students interact with the coaches. They're like, aunties. You know what I mean? In Africa, everybody's your auntie is Auntie I, Auntie this, Auntie that. And so I see that and I love it. And then internal to Google, people have said to us, team is magical. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they just see how we talk to each other. Like, we actually like each other outside of work and we cheer each other on, like people are just amazing. So I will say, to me, you said, what was my favorite job? I'll say that Google has actually been one of my favorite experiences in period, just how people treat each other, the respect that people give each other. And the fact that I can literally just say, okay, Vice President, whoever, I want to talk to you today. And they'll be like, okay. You know what I mean? Like, that's so weird to me. At other companies, it's this whole deference hierarchy. Like, oh my God, you must first talk to this person before that person.
Right.
No, that is not how it operates here. And so people are just so willing to learn from each other. I think it's because we believe we are hiring the best people on the planet and that everybody is meant to be here. So it's kind of like, if you here, bet, let's go and figure out what we're doing. And
let's
I know some
go.
Black women who are kicking butts in this company.
Yeah.
Do you hear me? So
I love it. You got me wanting to come over there and work. I'm
right.
like,
I got questions.
doing the work. You are doing the work.
I need you because I'm still calling you like, what is this word? Look,
I can't.
I'm
you
just
do outside
saying.
consulting as well, because there's so many people who need your skill set in various contexts and settings.
So here's the thing, and I know all of y'all probably have the same thing. So I tell people I suffer from opportunity. Right? A lot of people want you to do things. Yeah, I suffer
that is
from
a shirt.
And so I don't. Okay, so yes and no. So I am on a board for Hyper, which is a makerspace company for like toys in that space. So yes, I'm on a board, so kind of consulting. And then sometimes I do quarterlies with people who are in this space at different companies where we just kind of share ideas and talk about what we can do together. And then also I do have some other folks who I'm considering joining those boards. But for me, it is, I don't care about it being me. I just want it to be the right person. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm the kind of person, and actually it's so funny. The job for Google called me 3 times before I accepted it. Wow. I kept recommending other people.
And they like, no, we called you.
but I don't have a problem. But my point is like, I feel like we all can contribute. So I can't be everywhere. So if there is something that I hear about and I'm like, oh, this person is perfect. Oh, I'll recommend you in a minute. Of course, I'll call you first and be like, are you okay with me recommending you? You know what I mean? But that's how I see it. But yeah, I can a little consulting, but not as much just because I got a lot of kids.
I feel you. I mean, that's
somehow in this whole trajectory, she had 3 humans, and I'm over here struggling with 1.
But that's a lot. 0 to 1. You know what I mean?
Keep saying that. Like 0 to 1 is a lot.
It is.
1 to 2, not so bad. 2 to 3.
Yeah, it's like the 0 to 1 and the 2 to 3 is craziness. But then after that, it's like you just in the wilderness at that point. Just keep having them. You know what I mean?
Like somebody watch them. Somebody see them.
Okay, at this point, it's all good. It is all good.
Well, I feel like we've covered your whole trajectory and everything. Yeah. I want to know, like, if there's anything that you feel like our listeners should know, just based on your trajectory, like what you've been through, what you've seen in the tech world.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go back to what we talked about earlier about, you know, folks, sometimes people don't see what you see, and they may try to discourage you from making these jumps, you know, especially those outside of tech. I get this all the time. Like, I have a very close friend. I recommended her for that job as well. But guess what? Google did not take her for that one, but said you're absolutely perfect for this other role. And she ended up coming to Google. So she made a transition from government into tech. Because here's the thing about operations, that's everybody needs somebody with operation skills, right? And so what I'm saying in leadership, everybody needs that. The other piece is that so I just want to say again, don't let anybody else like determine what your journey is going to be. If you see yourself in these roles, please go after it. Also, if you want to make a switch from being, you know, highly technical to non-technical, or the reverse, you can do that too. You have life, you know, there are 24 hours in a day. There's so many self-paced courses, and I'm talking about either way, because I did that myself. Like, oh, LinkedIn has courses, you know what I mean? Like all of this stuff, Grow with Google, all of this stuff where I was like, oh, program management courses, let me go check that out. So whatever it is you want to do, there's opportunity for you to learn, or to use that social capital that we talked about, looking around your network to say, oh, okay, this person has this skill, I can tap into that. So just don't be afraid. And well, a little fear is good, because that tells you that this is actually a growth opportunity. So you can be a little afraid. Now, if you a lot of afraid, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like you want to have a percentage of some of the skill, right? You don't want it to be the other way around. So I would say, you know, please just, you know, continue to do those things. And that's what I will say, is because, like I said, I had people who wanted to discourage me in high school, people who wanted to discourage me, you know, not going full, you know, non-technical, but I still consider myself technical, because like my staff, they're computer science teachers. So I still need to know how to program things to be able to help them as well. But I will say I'm right now just considering what my next thing will be. I know I love music, right? I know that I love, you know, certain things. So I'm like thinking about, how do I use those things to continue what my mission statement is, my personal mission statement, which is to change the complexion of tech, right? So how do I usher in more people, right? And get them to stay here, like we talked about before. So I've been thinking more deeply about, does that mean that I should go back into a completely technical role? Because here's the thing, we create all these programs, bring these babies in, and babies, yes, adults too, right? Yeah. I'm just saying, we bring these babies in,
but we nurture them like babies.
Right. And then we drop them off.
Yeah.
With these crazy people.
And the same crazy people, that's the reason why they ain't there. Like,
come on. And I see this kind of like the leaky faucet, just they like, oh no, you're not finna talk to me like this. You see what I'm saying? Or no, I'm not gonna do this. And so it's like, then how do I create more of us who can go into those roles and be directors of engineering and managers in space, and to help to provide, you know, that air cover for our people. And so I'm thinking of all these other things. Also, there's this opportunity to help make HBCUs more research institutions, right? So I'm thinking of what's the next thing I can do, like I said, in service of that mission statement of changing the complexion of tech. So stay tuned on that.
What can I ask a question related to that, but it could be slightly controversial?
Oh, oh my.
because I know everybody wants to hear the tea and and thought. So Shameeka, you're an HBCU grad, right? What are your thoughts on current professors when it comes to CS and engineering at our historically Black colleges that don't look like us, right? And so right now, when we talk about going back, and this is something that I felt like I fought with myself and friends too, like, first, some people assume that getting a faculty position at a HBCU is easy. It is not, right? It's not easy. And then when you look at the landscape, the faculty don't look like us. So the students look like us. Even if we say we want to get back and start teaching there, like most of these departments maybe look like our individual PWI institutions. So what's your thoughts about that? Because even when, say for instance, when these companies are giving money to diversify, many of that money goes to the department or the faculty to try to funnel that out. And those faculty and departments don't look like us.
Oh Lord, Dr. Baker.
That's a whole other podcast.
That is, but you know what? I've been trying to. I also think about that deeply too. So when I was the program lead for Tech Exchange, I thought about that too. Because one of the big things or strategy points was like I wanted professors that looked like my students, who were going to co-teach with these Googlers who may or may not look like my students, right? And you're right. We do have some folks that are that, but let's talk about this. The pay, right? At those schools versus the others. So, and the amount of positions that are open, right? That's why it's harder to. So I feel like there's so many things that we need to do. The first, like, have these like programs that are nurturing like the who's next. And as far as the professor goes, if you have grad students at these places, why aren't you already talking to them about like converting into that? I mean, I was at NC State for grad school, and some of the PhDs that were there are now professors at NC State, but they had their claws in them, and I'm talking about Black guys, claws in them, while they were going through it. And so what I'm saying is, why don't we use the same strategy as well, where we're actually recruiting and entertaining and giving them these things, just like how we do in corporate, right? Like we give you dinner, we do these info sessions on campus to get you all excited. Why are we not doing the same things, right, in that space? And I would love to see that. But what I am saying is I actually love that I see more now, especially Black women in this space. And so I'm really excited to see that, but I would like to see even more. And then also, I mean, I would like to teach at some point, but I don't know about PhDs. Okay. That makes me break out in hives. Well, I encourage everyone else to get one.
You have a master's degree, you can teach.
Right.
Right?
So I mean, yeah, adjunct, but I'm saying, nah, I want
not even adjunct.
No, not adjunct. You can be a instructional faculty.
Yeah.
I want to be one of the people who can actually make some difference. I guess what I'm thinking of, and correct me, please.
Like the hierarchy when it comes to research.
Decision making and all of that stuff within the department. Yes, you're right. Being a lecturer is still great. You know what I mean? Like I still am able to influence the students and get them excited and inspired. But I'm also thinking about how am I able to make sure that the research dollars go with these research assistants and they're selected for these opportunities, and that we're graduating them and they're not being railroaded by advisory committees. And you see what I'm saying? Like we gotta go
somewhere where the space exists to be able to do it, like that's like the biggest piece of all of it. Really, your position title doesn't necessarily matter if the environment is a space where they respect you. Right. And so
let me
that's hard to find, but it exists.
I feel like, and maybe this is me being, making assumptions as well. I feel like you aren't really as respected when you don't have the PhD. You see what I'm saying? Like when you're trying to work in those spaces, especially. So for instance, there was a very well-known Ivy League school that was looking for someone for their computer science department, like a diversity strategist. And that person, they called me to consider the job. And I felt like I was not going to be able to command what I needed to from those people to actually usher in the change. Like, I need you to listen to me, and I need you to not be, be like, dismiss me because I don't have a PhD. Now, I'm, like I said, this is me and my assumptions. So tell me if I'm wrong. If that,
I think if you weren't who you are, then you would be right.
Right.
But you've done so much, right? Like, you've made huge waves. I think you're saying like, oh, I did this and I did that and I did this, like it's something small. They built a building,
right, for your initiative, especially
right?
with the cost of materials these days.
We're talking about millions, right? Wood was expensive when they built that building.
Correct.
They've done so much. Like, the amount of money that you've been able to leverage hails like some of these faculty couldn't even imagine it.
Not at all.
They'll never touch that amount of money. So like, what does this piece of paper mean if you can't get the money to do what you're trying to do anyways? Right? Like, you've done what they would aspire to do. You've made the changes. You've impacted the lives of people.
And if you were just a fresh master's graduate, perhaps, but you have all of this experience, you understand what's going on.
It's demonstrated.
Like, well, okay,
it's published.
So thank you. I receive. Yes. ACM, please publish my paper. Can we hurry up? I'm just anyway. Anyway, I received that, and see, I wanted to say once again to the listeners, like, this is what this is all about. Is having people around you who can still push you and encourage you, and you can ask these questions to say, I may be making this assumption, but is this true, right? And so thank you both for that, definitely, and I'm here to do the same for you. So seriously, we need you to do that. But Corey, you got me going on this question, because now I'm thinking, like, how can we actually do that? Like, kind of create like this faculty in residence, you know what I mean, kind of thing, to build up and have like this kind of like combine of these wonderful Black and brown soon to be professors that we can deploy everywhere.
Yeah. But you know
like,
what? I was in my fellowship. One of my fellowships I got in grad school was exactly for that. And I think it was through like the Department of Defense. And we had to basically sign a contract that said after we finished the fellowship, we were going to work in HBCU. Clearly, I did not work in HBCU, but you want to know why? About midway through the fellowship program, there was a separate DoD related case where someone didn't get a contract and they sued and all this stuff because it went to a minority bidder, and then that person won, and they said, okay, none of our money can go specifically towards a minority focused anything. So lost my fellowship in the middle of grad school just because of something that had nothing to do with it. But all that to say, there are people who have this initiative that they definitely want to do, because it was all Black and brown people, and we're at all different universities. They had a little conference for us, and you're signing on with the advisor and the advisor.
We need to resurrect that.
I'm telling you, need to resurrect it with some non-restricted funding
before somebody listens to the podcast episode.
This isn't coming out till like February, March. So
let's hurry up and get this started.
Get it under review.
Yeah.
Well, I think that also the thing that happens with those particular departments, I feel like if you look at many CS, engineering, just HBCU departments, many of those faculty are not Black, right? Many of those faculty are not women. And so when you look at the department chairs and then even the respective deans of colleges, I think there's only a sprinkle of deans who are Black at the HBCUs. You run into many of the problems that you run in at these other schools. Like I don't even think they have it listed as a bullet point, but their goal is, for some reason, still not to hire Black faculty. They're going to choose a colleague that looks like them.
We know. Yeah, nepotism. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I feel like when you mentioned that, I thought about when you said when you take these roles, you either have to have either one or two good people who are high up that are going to be willing to stand with you, or you got to have a critical mass, is what Dr. Waisome was talking about. If you have enough people there to make those waves, and I feel like it's possible, but in many of these situations, even in our own HBCUs, we don't have a critical mass. And so how do we create that? Or
I mean, there are organizations that are trying to. I feel like they convene like the professors from HBCU, private and public, together to try to talk about these things. But I also just think that it's money too. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I keep going back to this thing. I know this is terrible, but I feel like we are always asking our people to be martyrs. You know what I mean? Like, we always want us to sacrifice. Why I gotta eat ramen noodles for all of the Black community? You know what I'm saying? Like, why?
Not for the whole Black community.
Why are you asking? I'm just saying. So what happens is like, let's say you do get an offer from a HBCU versus somewhere else. Is it competitive with each other? Are they able to give you that? But also with the other package deal stuff that comes with it, with the development and the travel budget and the, you can go to
that's
phase
two. That's phase 2 of our proposal, because it is equipping them, and then let them take whatever salary the school can afford, but we can supplement their salary
by
to be competitive, and you're not taking this,
and
you're not falling on the sword.
Resources and all of that. Yeah.
Right. So I'm just saying,
it's writing itself now.
We writing this thing, but I'm just saying, like, we gotta give them incentives for folks to actually want to go there. But you're right. I just think it's so many things. The statistics of who's coming out of school, where they're going, right? Because some PhDs are going into industry. You got some going into, it's like everybody's going other places. So it's just a small amount of talent that we can tap into for those things. So
y'all
either gotta,
I just realized all this time we've been talking, I'm holding a pen. Do you see?
Oh my God. He has a Google pen, and I literally made my tea in this Google mug.
Google.
We have been so indoctrinated. Corey, what Google stuff you got around you?
I don't have anything.
I
had a Google summer program this year. I guess if that counts.
I'm sorry to have broken the conversation.
That is
but
hilarious.
Wow.
I'm sure if I look at my desk, I'll find something else.
I love this pen, by the way. It's like a Sharpie pen. It's fabulous. It's fabulous.
We're so happy that we could have given you this wonderful swag.
It's my favorite. I have a bunch of them.
Their swag is great.
Seriously, and I cannot, now that we're all off punishment and can go back outside, I hope to see you at some wonderful Google conferences.
Yeah, we'll have to connect and obviously be actual friends in real life, and not just have our network be a thing.
Yes, definitely. Because you're in Atlanta. Oh, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that.
No, we're both in Gainesville.
Yeah.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But we kind of halfway live in Atlanta.
Right.
We're always in Atlanta.
Oh, this was so much fun. Like,
thank you for joining us, Shameeka.
No, thanks for having me. Thank you so much.
And
before we go, could you tell people how to find you on the internet? How do they find you?
God, please don't look for me. I'm just kidding. Oh. No, I mean, I'm on LinkedIn, Shameeka Emanuel, as well. And then also, it's just really easy to find me at Google. I should probably not give you my address, but just putting it out there that I'm the only Shameeka.
At google.com.
But spelt my way, okay? I actually just met another Shameeka at Google this week at work, and I'm very excited. Yes. She just spells it differently. But yeah, so that's kind of how you can find me, either on LinkedIn or hit me up at work, because it's always job up. I know it's always up.
On your episode page, we're gonna put like your LinkedIn and all the social media that you gave us. So they will know how to find you if they just look in the show notes if they're listening.
Oh my God.
If they
Y'all
do.
are amazing. Like when I got this whole kit, I was like, this is legit. Like I got nervous. Like no.
Corey, thank you for hopping on
Yes.
too. It was really good to see you.
Thanks for having. I'm glad I could support you all.
I need to post our chat where I'm like, please.
We'll talk about that in a second.
Yes,
but thank you both so much.
That is wait, what did your hat say?
Oh, this is a KB. This is my brother. He's a comedian, so this is his.
Cool.
But he has like Dragon Ball Z, so he has Dragon Ball Z colored.
That's cool.
Plug
Like
Keenan.
Dragon Ball Z.
I thought it was
Keenan
KB
Baker.
Toy Store. I was
Me
like,
too.
It's
Hey,
Keenan Baker.
I was like, I ain't seen no KB Toy Store in a long time.
In a long time.
All right, and Corey, if people want to find you, how do they find you?
Twitter at Dr. Corey Baker, or if you type Corey Baker, Kentucky, I'll come up in Google.
All right. This was a fun episode.
This was fun. We need to have more drop-in guests. I'm just saying.
I know.
Yes, I had fun. Definitely.
Yes,
It's good
we
to
gotta
Drop in
have
or throwing gas. I kind of
Look,
Hey. It could have been like real ratchet for a minute and decided to be nice to you. So be grateful, okay?
Yeah, thank you. I mean, y'all did double team me, but
It was all love. It was
all love.
But you
it was
enjoyed
great
your
seeing
time.
you all.
Yes.
Likewise.